What I was trying to say is that if I can change,
Я думаю, что каждый тоже изменился
and
сегодня.
you can change,
Вы можете измениться.
everybody can change.
Каждый может измениться.
Welcome back to Thinking Critical. This is Wes. And recently we've had a lot of new information regarding Diamond Comics Distributors as well as Lunar Distributors and their packing material. So today I'm going to cover that. After I cover the two articles about the new packing materials, Yul Carter from Fantastic Comics is going to join me. We're going to talk about that, as well as a third article about some of the recent DC comics that had to be delayed because Diamond was not able to ship them on time, and kind of what all that means for the comic book industry and retailers specifically. First, I'm going to read the article from Bleeding Cool about Lunar Distribution, talk about that one a little bit. Then I'm going to read the article about Diamond Comics Distributors' reaction to that, and then we'll talk to Yul Carter. Normally, I wouldn't use Bleeding Cool as a source material for any of this information, but they're the only ones really to report on it. It looks factual. I've seen reports from multiple retailers that these things are true, so I will make an exception this time, but definitely don't expect me to use a lot of articles from Bleeding Cool as source material for any of the stuff I report going in the future. I will make an exception here or there, but generally speaking, Bleeding Cool is dog crap, and most of their information is garbage. So there's that. But this seems to be pretty legit. Now let's get to the first article from Rich Johnston. Now that is how you make an impact on comic book retailers as a new distributor of comic books. Bleeding Cool reports that retailers have started to receive DC Comics titles for sale on Tuesday, though without actually receiving any restrictions for sale date. They could start selling them right now. But Lunar Distribution, also known as DCBS, seems to have learned from their own need to sell comic books in decent condition and have left nothing to chance. Retailers receive their comic books in as close to mint condition as possible, courtesy of copious and oversized bubble wrap. Retailers have reported to Bleeding Cool that they have never known distribution like it. Now, this is great news. One of the big issues that comic book retailers have had for a very long time with Diamond Comics Distributors is damaged product. And a lot of times it's damage to their most important products. They will take their variant covers, incentive covers, put them in one box with other things like statues, throw them in there, seal it up, and when you receive your variant covers and incentive covers that have the highest price tags day one are all damaged. And retailers most of the time have to order a ton of other comic books just to receive them in the first place. It's been a huge problem. It's been a huge problem for a very long time. It is great to see Lunar Distribution doing something different, listening to the retailers, doing their best to look out for them first, using better packing material, ensuring that retailers receive their comic books in pristine condition. They don't have to return them. They don't have to sell them with a discount because they're already dinged up. They're already damaged. This is great news. This is exactly what we wanted to hear when DC Comics announced that they were bringing two new comic book distributors online while Diamond Comics Distribution were shut down for COVID-19. Hopefully this is just the beginning, and Lunar and UCS do even more for the retailers to separate themselves from the competition, entice other publishers to use their services, hopefully grow them, and give retailers a real option and give retailers real competition for distribution so that they can get the best service possible and give customers their comics in the best possible condition on day one. So this is great news, and even better news, Diamond Comics Distributors were paying attention and they took action as well. Here's the second article. Rod Lamberti of Rodman Comics, Iowa, got his Diamond Comic Distributors delivery for this coming Wednesday, yesterday, which is pretty early for Diamond, but there's more besides. We previously looked at the large amounts of packaging that comic book stores have been receiving from new DC Comics distributor Lunar Distribution, created by DCBS, especially in comparison with their packages from Diamond Comics Distributors, with all too familiar damages. Well, this week they appear to have received something additional in their package that they hadn't seen before: big bubble wrap. Inside the wrap are this coming Wednesday's comic books, and as Rod tells Bleeding Cool, everything there is ordered and not one damage. Could it be that the new DC Comics distributors have been inspiring Diamond to add a little bubbly magic to their boxes, earlier shipping as well, giving retailers more time to prepare for New Comics Day? Is this what competition does to the market? It seems so. They also got another letter for their hashtag Back the Comeback campaign. Unlike last time, this one wasn't damaged either. Could this be good news for everyone? There has been criticism from some prominent comic book retailers regarding Diamond's shipping procedures, even with the new packaging that they brought in last year. There's also been criticism of Diamond's monopoly status for certain publishers to comic book stores, but that is effectively over for now for DC Comics at least. It could be that the existence of UCS and Lunar had led them to up their game, especially for relatively smaller stores like Rodman's Comics. Like I said, this is good news. I love that Diamond Comics responded in kind, seeing that there is now competition in the market that are bringing something different, something better than they were doing, and it has caused them to react and give retailers a better product moving forward. And this just doesn't affect DC Comics. Obviously, this will affect Marvel Comics, Image Comics, and all the other publishers that are still exclusively going through Diamond, as only DC is associated with Lunar and UCS right now. Hopefully, they will bring on other publishers in the future, like I mentioned before. But now with that, let's talk to Yul Carter of Fantastic Comics about these two reports, as well as some of the upcoming DC Comics that were delayed due to some shipping issues at Diamond Comics. I know you just opened your your new location for Fantastic Comics, and we know that DC ended up having to delay some of their comic books because Diamond didn't ship them on time. So people that received them from Lunar or UCS, they were asked not to release issues of, I believe it was Aquaman, The Flash was in there, Batman and the Outsiders. It was just a handful of issues. Is there a beef between Diamond and DC and they're doing it on purpose, or do you think it was just on accident?
Could there be a beef between them? And wow, that would be this is the end. This is the end of me buying DC from Diamond. No, I'm just joking. I don't think it is. It's probably like some snafu that Diamond's like, hey, come on, do me a favor. You've already been doing all this other stuff. Can you cut us some slack here? Mm-hmm. I don't think it's like anything like that, but it does make me question the viability of Diamond and DC going forward. Is if Diamond doesn't get their shit together, I'm going to just say this: if they don't get their shit together, I might start ordering my DC stuff from one of those the company that serves me. I haven't. Should
be Lunar.
Yeah, I have not dealt with them, but I've only seen great packaging. I heard that it might be a little bit more expensive shipping though, so there might be that respect why I might not do it. But if things are going to keep coming damaged from Diamond, or they use those crappy boxes that are like not as durable as we thought we hope they might be, let's go Lunar. I'm not getting any special something from Diamond, and I would from them. And if I could, not owe as big a bill to one company only, but spread it out, of course, across other companies. The question is, when is Marvel going to move over to Lunar?
We don't even know if Lunar is going to be a permanent fixture, but if they can prove their worth and people will start moving over there, I think they absolutely will be. But I that is one of the things that we're kind of seeing that might be a good effect of this new competition for distribution, Lunar and UCS being there. Speaking of Lunar, we are hearing good things about their packaging, lots of bubble wrap and lots of stories of pristine comic books arriving at stores where there's no damage. You don't have to have returns. You don't have to lower the price because they're already dinged and the spine's all messed up and chips on covers and things like that. It sounds like Diamond might be trying to up their game and be including some better packaging inside the box as well.
Yeah, and that's the reason why I hope Lunar and the other company don't go away, because if that is driving Diamond to care, to actually put forth some effort, then that is all right. There's all the things that I wanted Diamond and publishers to do. But if the only thing that happens is they start, packaging better and paying attention to what they're doing, I'll take it as a small victory. And I think the only way that can happen is for those other companies to remain in business, because Jeppy said that Steve Jeppy, who owns Diamond, that he kind of lost his way. I'm assuming that the company was running the way it does, and he didn't have to get involved or really show up and make sure people are doing what they're supposed to be doing. It's running somewhat effectively, so why bother? But during this time, he said, this hiatus of product coming out, Jeppy said that he has renewed his interest, and he is gonna he's taking this personally, and he wants to put forth the effort again to make Diamond a number one company as far as it being a distributor. I think again the only way that you can do that is to have the competition that says, hey, we're doing it this way, why aren't you?
Absolutely, yes. Competition absolutely brings out the best in everyone. We all know what happened to WWF as soon as WCW and ECW folded. It went to crap. We got stuff like Roman Reigns and John Cena, and nothing went well. Hopefully, Diamond Comics distribution rises to the challenge as we have new competitors in there that are taking different steps. And yes, there might be a little bit more cost involved with receiving your comics because there's better packaging. But if you don't have to discount the prices, if you can have all of your copies available for day one, you don't have to miss out on sales as people go to other shops looking for a copy of the comic they wanted at your shop. I think it could be worth the cost. And of course, obviously, it's up to the retailers to determine, when it's worth it and when it's not. And hopefully, everything gets better. And there's just competition just always breeds a better performance and a better product in the end.
Yeah, I mean, distributing has got to be one of the most thankless jobs there is, but this is your job, and the competition is the thing that it's like the mother of necessity, invention. You got to come up with new ways to make yourself better. And you're right. If there is a comic book that comes in and it's damaged, what I do as a store is I mark it as damaged. And I tell the company, hey, I need a new issue of this. And I might not get it. It might go out of print. They might just never send it. I might get a credit for it, but here it is, something I already paid for, just sitting in a box that I can't sell to anybody. And you're right. Some people will sell it, cheaper. They might not be able to move it at all because it's dinged. I guarantee the books that I just got in this last week, there was a lot of damages. Pre-COVID, these books came in. They were packaged pre-COVID. I didn't get the alternate cover or the B cover to the giant-sized X-Men book. So half of my X-Men books I don't have. I'm not going to make my money on it unless they can send it to me, and I'm already selling them way later than what I normally would have. It's not even as much as like, oh, I don't have to pay for these things and I got my credit. It's the lack of money. It's not even money. It's I didn't service my customers properly, and it's no fault of my own. I placed the order and it didn't come in. And it doesn't sound like that's happening with Lunar.
Yeah, so there were some issues with people signing up and everything, but I think they're working the kinks out. And I think hopefully in the end, everyone wins and there's better distribution and you get better comics and everyone wins. But I think that's going to basically wrap us up here for today. Yul, is there anything that you needed to say about the information that we have on distribution before we wrap it up?
I think we covered that pretty good. I hope this is what I hope. I hope that Catwoman does well, and it's a 25th issue, so Centennial ones already sell pretty well anyway. So pick that one up and read it. I'll definitely tell you in the chat, in the very least, what I thought of it.
Absolutely, yeah. I think it's going to be good. Hopefully he hits this one. I haven't really read a bad comic book by him yet. So
cool. Yeah.
But I do want to say thank you to everybody that was on Twitch that joined us today. We had a very good conversation. I definitely went off the beaten path, and we tend to do that when we talk about comics and pro wrestling and stuff like that. But thank you all for joining us. We're going to end the broadcast here, and we'll see y'all later. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. I would appreciate it very much. It helps us attract more views for the channel. Subscribe for future commentary, comic book news, and reviews. And don't forget to ring the bell for notifications. If you want to talk comics, movies, and much, much more, you can follow me on Twitter at Wes_from_TC. With that, Salamat Po, and I'm out.